Welcome to this Hornbill TV special, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alnguli. A 27-year-old man died after police fired at a mob attempting to raid an armory of the 3rd Indian Reserve Battalion in Manipur's Thoubal district on Tuesday. The incident came hours after arsonists burned down the Churachandpur house of a spokesperson for one of the two ceasefire-bound Kuki outfits that called off their blockade on National Highway 2 last Sunday. Just earlier, the Kuki National Organization's spokesperson Sheilin Hokip's house in Manipur's Churachandpur region was set on fire on Monday night, a day after the KNO and the United People's Front announced that the blockade on National Highway 2 in Kangpokpi district will be lifted. On Monday, we had a conversation with Mr. Kuraija Matuba, the spokesperson of the Coordinating Committee on Manipur Integrity, an apex body of valley-based civil society organizations. The conversation with the leader centered on the possible cause of the conflict in Manipur that we are seeing right now and the possibility of the two communities engaging in peacemaking efforts. So this is part of Hornbill TV's effort to talk to the various sides who are engaged in conflict in Manipur, and hopefully we might get insights about possible peacemaking efforts they might be having, because I think it has been too long that there has been violence between the two sides in Manipur, and this is starting to take a toll on the lives of the people there, including students who study there. Today we will be talking to a leader on the other side of the spectrum. The spokesperson of the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, Mr. Jinza Volzong, is joining me from Lamka, earlier known as Churachandpur. So we'll be talking to him. He is online right now. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your joining us at such a short notice. We are sorry that we could not connect with you early on. What is the situation there?
Right. Like you mentioned earlier, the house of the spokesperson for KNO, Dr. Sheilin Hokip, was burned down by unknown miscreant.
Right.
Right. We believe it has something to do with the opening of the national highway in Kangpokpi. Apart from that, there are continuous firing in the boundary area of the Imphal Valley. However, the Lamka town is peaceful at the moment. Firing only happens around the boundary of the Imphal Valley.
Right, Mr. Volzong. Right now, according to what we have been hearing, the internet services remain banned, right?
Right.
If I may just ask you, just to contextualize this conversation, where are you right now? Are you in a military camp or in a police establishment somewhere? Because we are told there is no internet there.
Right. I would not like to disclose my location because of security reasons.
So
right,
we'll be getting into the conversation.
Right. We have a very limited access of internet only on certain government office. So I don't want to disclose the location.
Right, right. So right now, what is the composition of the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum? And I want to ask you this, just again to contextualize the conversation with you. Do you speak for the Kuki community or do you speak for the tribal sections of Manipur in general, the Itlf?
Right, the ITLF, which is the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, consists of all the leaders of the tribals.
Right.
Especially for the organization was made for Churachandpur, which consists of the Kuki, the Paites, the Vaite, the Simpes, the Jo, and other tribals. So it consists of all the tribals, recognized tribals in Manipur from the Churachandpur side.
Right. So would I be correct if I say that you represent the Kuki voice in this conversation?
Right. We call ourselves the Kuki Zo community,
I
which
see.
consists of the Kuki and the Zo ethnic group of people.
I see. Yeah, so earlier, like I said, we talked to a leader of the Cockney, and there were many elements in the conversation that I felt pointed toward the Kuki community, and the causes and the reasons for the conflict were attributed mostly to them. One of these elements was that the constant reference to what was termed narco-terrorists. Could you enlighten us a little bit on what this whole element of narco-terrorism is in context to the Manipur conflict right now?
I don't know why they call us the narco-terrorists. We have nothing to do with narcotics or poppy cultivation. We are just villagers, daily wages, earning their livelihood from the cultivation. The actual drug lord or drug cartel are from the Imphal Valley, the Meitei community. Even recently in the national media, one Meitei was caught in Delhi related to the narcotics. So the Kuki Zo community or tribals are just the cultivator, daily wager who earn their livelihood from the cultivation. So we do not say the Kuki Zo communities are not involved in the big scene. So the big player are from the Imphal Valley.
So what you mean to say, Mr. Walzong, is that the Meitei establishment is accusing you of engaging in activities that you do not engage in, right?
Right.
Reports also suggested that poppy plantations in Manipur are mostly in the hilly regions, which I believe that the Kuki tribal communities reside. So do you engage in poppy cultivation?
Yes, I agree. Some of our villagers are engaged in poppy cultivation. Like I
Right.
said, they are earning their livelihood out of it. So if the government can provide them an alternative means of livelihood, yes, we will stop involving in this poppy cultivation. Like I said, the big players are from the Imphal Valley, and they are just the cultivators who are earning their livelihood every day.
I see.
So
Excuse me, Mr. Walzong. So you agree that the Kuki community engages in poppy cultivation, right?
Right. I would like to add also that it's not only the Kuki community who are involved in the poppy cultivation. The Nagas in Manipur are also involved, and other communities are also involved in poppy cultivation. Like I said, everyone is earning their livelihood. So the government should rather check the big players. They should stop the big players who are dealing with this drug.
And who are the big players, Mr. Walzong?
Like I said, recently in Manipur, one IPS officer, Miss Brenda, a Meitei IPS officer, was about to was exposed the involvement of the Chief Minister N. Biren Singh in drugs. So the state government machinery, N. Biren Singh used the state government machinery and stopped Brenda from exposing. And I think she resigned from her government post because she was not allowed to expose what's going on in the drug scene in Manipur.
I see. So she contested the elections, right, if I am not mistaken?
Yes, they did.
So she was trying to expose narcotic and drug transaction activities in the Manipur government, is that right?
Right.
I see. Okay.
There are many things which are involved which we do not know. Blaming the Kuki community for poppy plantation is just an eyewash. So the real picture or the real player are, some other people. So we need to focus on that as well.
I see. Okay. Talking of focusing on the core issues of the conflict and resolving them, the leader of the Cockney, Mr. Atuba, had earlier insisted that efforts to resolve the current conflict in Manipur and to bring in peace can only come on several preconditions.
Okay.
This is what he said. First condition, check the narco-terrorists, or that's what he called. And second, check the illegal immigrants, and we will start talking about peace. What do you say to that, Mr. Walzong?
Like I said, we have already talked about the narcotic part of it. I will not repeat that, and I'll talk on the illegal immigration issue. As we all know, there are issues from Myanmar due to the military junta. So many of our brothers who are residing in Myanmar have moved to Mizoram as well as Manipur.
Right.
But the numbers are not in thousands, the numbers are just in hundreds. And they have been given proper shelter by the government, and the government is well aware of these immigrants who are taking shelters in the Indian side. So it is not alarming because the numbers are just in hundreds. So I don't know why the Meitei people or NBNC government keep on talking about illegal immigrants. They should come up with the data and statistics to prove that, these many are actually illegal immigrants. So the people whom they accuse of being an illegal immigrant are the actual citizens of India. So I really wanted the state government under N. Singh should come up with the data and show us what they exactly talk about illegal immigrants.
Right.
That's
So, excuse me,
Right.
Mr. Walzong, how many people who are right now categorized in the illegal immigrants category are there in Manipur right now? You mentioned data just now. How many?
I don't know. They just talk about illegal immigrants. They never come up with the data.
I say.
So I don't know the numbers, what they're talking about.
So what you're saying is the other side of the conflict, the parties who is engaged in conflict, they are using illegal immigrants and the context of poppy cultivation livelihood as an excuse to attack you. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, that's right. I would like to mention here that we've been living in this part of the land from time immemorial, from our forefathers' days. Our history has gone way back in the 18th century, even before we lived in this land, before India was created, before Manipur was created. So they cannot call us immigrants in our own land.
Right.
And we are very much part of India. We fight for India independence, and during the INA War of Independence, many Kukis has participated. I think out of 180 or 150 freedom fighters, 70% of them are the Kukis.
Okay, so what you're saying is you are the victims because because when I talked to Mr. Atuba earlier, he suggested that the way he was talking, they were the victims and they were constantly being threatened by those living in the borderline that differentiates the valley from the hills. So I felt that the Meitei community was taking a posturing of victimhood, and here I believe that you are saying you are the victim instead.
Right. Let me come to my point again. We are very much Indian. We fight for Indian independence under INA, and in the list of people who fought for Indian independence under INA, 70% of the people are Kukis. So we are very much Indian, and we are not illegal immigrants. That's the point I want to make.
Okay.
And we are very much a victim in this present ethnic cleansing crisis in Manipur, because the issue broke up because of the various policy made by the state government in trying to grab the land of the tribals. So if we are not being provoked, this crisis would not have been broke out. So we've been provoked, we've been attacked. That's why the people who are being attacked cannot be a victim.
But both sides have lost lives, Mr. Walzong. Both sides, the Kuki people have lost lives, you have lost property and houses. The Meitei people have also lost lives and lost property.
Right, I agree. If you look at the statistics, please look at the statistics. Out of the 130 people died, 110 are from the Kuki community. Look at the numbers. And the entire tribal colonies, houses, churches have been wiped out in the Imphal, the capital of Imphal. There's no more, no Kuki house outstanding at the moment.
I see.
And I would like to add here that the Meitei people who died are those who died in action. So the Kuki people do not go ahead and kill women and children or all people. The only people that got killed are during inaction. When we are being attacked, obviously we have to defend our village and we have to retaliate in the process. Some Meitei people are being killed. However, if you look at Imphal, they do not spare every walk of life. They kill all persons, elderly persons. They kill officers, government employees. They kill university students. They rape women. They kill women and child. You must have heard about the women and child who were burned alive inside the ambulance in Kampoki area.
Just earlier, the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum had said that the Kuki community released 5 Meitei youths as a gesture of peace. Am I right?
That's correct.
Right. So, I think the Kokmi leader told us that it was in fact a publicity stunt that involved exchange of captives from both sides. It was not the Kuki community releasing Meitei youths. It was a publicity stunt. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't care what they call a publicity stunt or not. We did a good gesture from our part. We released, we have captured 5 Meitei who were trying to attack the Kuki village. However, on a good faith, on a good time, we have released 5 of them. On the same day, the Meitei have attacked the Mar village in Langja. They have burned 20 to 30 houses, and they have beheaded one Mar youth whose name is David Mar, and show it to the public. They have shown the head of the boy and publicly, and I think there are images about that as well. So that is the kind of violence, you know. And on the other side, we have from the Kuki side, we have some good gesture, but from their part, they do not spare even the boy.
So, in this whole madness of violence and blood, have you ever considered reaching out to the Meitei community? Because I have asked this same question to the Meitei leader whom we talked to in this program. Have you ever considered reaching out to them?
I do not see a point talking to them because we have already crossed the river. We have already crossed that line because so many lives has been lost, so many churches and houses have been burned down. So if the Chief Minister talk about, you know, Kuki's brother and sister, if he consider us brother and sister, they shouldn't have killed us. They shouldn't have burned our house in the first place. So after burning more than 70,000 Kuki house, burning more than 360 churches and quarters, and killing more than 100, we cannot talk about peace.
But then, Mr. Volzong, you have said that you have already crossed the line and there is no possibility to an end to this. Then if the cycle of violence continues, then don't you think that the idea of peace, the way the Meitei community wants, the idea of peace that the Kuki community wants, is in itself defeated? There should be some kind of, because you've crossed the line, you know that you cannot tolerate it. Don't you think there should be some kind of an outreach, like at least to the government of Manipur, let's say?
Right.
Because I've asked the same question to the Kokmi leader earlier.
Right. We have reached a point where, you know, we can no longer live together with the Meitei. We have reached that point. We can the people who have been chased out of Imphal cannot go back to Imphal for fear of their lives. They've been traumatized, and I don't think no one will dare go back to the Imphal. So the people have been separated. The Kuki Joe in the Imphal Valley have moved out of Imphal and have gone to the tribal area in the hills, whereas the Meitei who lived in the hill area moved to the Imphal Valley. So there has been already a separation. Demographically, we have been separated now. The only solution now left for the government is to give us, a separate administration, which is also our political demand, which is a total separation from Manipur.
So now any kind of initiative towards peace will depend on whether the government of Manipur will agree to your terms for a separate administration, let's say an autonomous council. Is that even possible, Mr. Walzong? Is that even a possibility?
I don't think autonomous district council will work, because we believe we do not have faith in the government of Manipur anymore. We do not have faith with the Meitei community anymore. So there has to be a separation, and that separation is the only solution at the moment. And we will be good neighbors. However, we cannot, be under the same roof anymore. That's why we all have one common political demand, be it the civil society, be it the MLS, be it the SO group. We all agreed for a total separation from Manipur. And we have already made known the central government about our demand, and there are talks going on, and I'm sure something will come out of it.
Wait, did you just mention Kuki MLAs, Mr. Walzong?
Yes.
Okay, so which means you're in conversation with the Kuki leaders in the legislature, right?
Right.
So
they have submitted a memorandum to Amit Shah, the Indian Home Minister, and demand the total separation from Manipur.
So you're implying that the violence will stop only if the government gives you a separate state, because I believe you just mentioned that you do not want an autonomous administration. How does that work? How does that work?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, how does that work? You don't want an autonomous administration, right, Mr. Walzong?
Not under the Manipur government.
I see. That means it will have to be a separate state in any case.
A separate state or a union territory.
A separate case of, okay, that's very interesting. What, according to you, and I'm asking to you this question because you are in touch with the Kuki legislative leaders as a tribal front. So what are the Kuki legislators saying inside? You want total separation?
Correct. The Kuki MLAs also have submitted their demand to the Indian Home Minister, and our demand is only one thing, which is total separation from Manipur. And the same demand is the demand of the Itlf as well as other CSO groups.
I see. Do you have any idea about the demographic of the Kuki community in Manipur, like the population, the size of the area they inhabit?
That will have to be chalked out by the SO group who've been asking a separate administration from the government from before. Also, the Nagas in Manipur has to be involved as well.
Right.
So there has to be a concerted or a consultation, and something has to be chalked out with all the stakeholders.
Right. You mentioned Naga just now, Mr. Walzong, so I was just getting to that question, because the Kuki community in Manipur is not exclusive unto itself. There are a lot of sub-communities, sub-tribes, right? It's not just the Meitei, the Kuki, there are Nagas, different groups are there. So don't you think that having, let's say, there was some kind of a possibility that the government of India will grant you a union territory, or it will give you a separate administration that is not under the Manipur government, but don't you think with so many subgroups, tribes in Manipur, don't you think it's too exclusive
That's
to
right.
have that way for the Kuki community? Don't you think it's too exclusive?
Right. It's very complex. The situation here in Manipur is very complex because even among the tribals there are many groups. So that's why all the stakeholders have to sit together and sort it out.
But do you think other groups will agree, other tribal groups will agree to that? Don't you think it will just worsen the situation again?
I don't think it will worsen the situation. That's why, the government have, I think the government talked to the Naga group as well and the Kuki group as well. So I think something will come out, there will be a solution for this. I believe in that.
Okay, something will come out, which means, are you currently talking to the Manipur government?
No, to the central government.
Not with the central government.
Right.
You're currently talking to the central government in this regard.
Right.
When have you last met with the central government? This is very interesting. I would like to know.
The last time we met was, I was not part of it, but the MLAs and the SO group are there. And that's why, as a good gesture, the National Highway 2 was tested. That was the outcome of the talk with the government.
That was about 2 days ago. I believe you sent us a press release, right? 2 days ago?
Right.
National Highway, National Highway 2.
Right.
Okay, so that was a byproduct of your meeting with the central government leaders.
Right. However, the people are not happy with the opening of National Highway 2. So I think the blockage continues.
Oh, so the blockade continues.
Yeah, that's why the people are unhappy. That's why the spokesperson of KNO house was burned.
So the cycle of violence will continue, right?
But that's why, as I'm sitting here in the ground, I know the pulse of the people. The people want, total separation. The people will not take anything less than, total separation.
I see. So okay, now I think I understand a little bit of it. Why the Kuki community does not want peace and why the Meitei leadership does not want peace, because the Meitei leadership has already set preconditions earlier, and you don't have you also have one precondition, that is, until there is total separation, you are not going to stop doing what you are doing.
Right.
So then I have a question. How long will this continue until the government actually give inputs in regard to your demand? It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 months, it could be 4, 50, 60, 70 years.
Right. It could be years. However, the people are ready to sacrifice, because this time it's now or never. We've been discriminated in Manipur. We've been mistreated. We've been called names. We've been called illegals in our own land. We've been called poppy cultivators. So this time the people are saying it's now or never. That's why we will defend our land. We will give more lives if it is required.
Right. We are running out of time, Mr. Volzong. Just one more question, briefly. In other words, what you are saying is, right now, you will continue to fight, and there are no peace initiatives in the process. You will continue to fight. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Just yes or no?
Yes. So far, we are not doing the attack. We are defending our land. So as long as the Meitei do not attack us, there will be peace.
Okay, right. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Volzong, and I believe that we will be in touch because this situation seems to keep on evolving, and we appreciate you giving us time. We will talk later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was a leader of the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum of Manipur, and the conversation continues to be conflict with both the sides not really agreeing on any kind of initiative that might bring peace to the broken land of Manipur. Thank you so much for watching Hornbill TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Al Nguli. See you next time.